goodness, seeking countenance of Allah, His pleasure, nearness, and reward. Ameen. Allahumma ameen. Inshallah. We're gonna continue today with the attributes of Allah, the hearer and the seer, inshallah. Fadal Ustaz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Al-Fatiha bi niyyati anna Allah yaftah alaina al-futuh al-arifin faqihna fi din. Wa bi anna Allah yunawwiru qulubana wa qawalibana ma'a tuqa wal huda wal 'afwa wal ghina wal mawti' ala dinil Islam wal iman. Wa anna Allah yukhlis lana niyyah fil ibadah wa fil hayat وفي التعبد إلى الله على هذه النية ولكل نية صالحة وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. سر الأسرار الفاتحة. طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has ascribed to himself attributes of perfection. For he is the creator of mankind and everything in existence. For he is all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-hearing. And he speaks to us via his book and via the means that he has chosen. Alhamdulillah, today we resume our lesson on two more of his attributes, that is Sami'un Basir. As-Sama' wal-Basar, the attribute of seeing and hearing, when it is ascribed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, refers to two attributes which is eternal. Yes, eternal without beginning, as his essence is eternal without beginning. Through these two attributes, yankashifu bihima jami'u al-mawjudati inkishafan taman. Through the attributes of seeing and hearing, the known aspects of everything existing, yes, becomes known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, becomes unveiled to him in a complete manner, meaning to say nothing is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge. And it is said that it is a sifatun sifatan azaliyatan, meaning to say it is eternal. So how can it be eternal without beginning if human beings, which are part of the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, part of the seen and heard of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is new? Yes, nahnu hadith, we are new. Now, although our existence is new, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all aspects that is relevant to us, with the exception of the endowment of existence, is already known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seen and heard by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before coming into the realm of being in existence. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala sami'un basir. He is all hearing and he is all seeing. Yasma' wa yara. He hears and he sees. La ya'zub an sam'ihi masmu' wa in khafa. Nothing is omitted, nothing is hidden from his sight, from his hearing, even though it may be veiled, even though it may be subtle, even though it may be delicate. وَلَا يَغِيبُ عَنْ رُؤْيَتِهِ. Yes, and likewise, nothing escapes his sight and vision, even though it is, as we said, delicate, subtle, soft, yes, and not apparent. وَلَا يَحْجُبْ سَمْعَهُ بُعْدٌ. Nor does distance, yes, nor does distance take away his hearing. وَلَا يَدْفَعْ رُؤْيَتَهُ ظُلَامٌ. Nor does darkness, yes, veil his sight. وَيَرَى سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى مِنْ غَيْرِ هَدْقَةٍ وَأَجْفَانٍ. He sees certainly without the intermediary, yes, of an organ like the eye, nor and he hears without necessitating ears, yes, because his attributes is not the same as the attributes of his creation, just as his essence is not the same as the essences of that which he created. Ya'lamu kha'inatal a'yun wa ma tukhfi sudur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the betrayal of the vision, the betrayal of the eyes. Yes, the treacherous nature of the eyes. Wa ma tukhfi sudur, and whatever is hidden in the hearts. Now this term a'yun, yes, is the plural of the word ayn. The plural of the word ayn. So now one meaning of ayn is the sight or your eyes. Another meaning of ayn is essence or a person. Yes. So that means يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ, he knows the treachery of people, yeah, or he knows the treachery of individuals. That's possible. Yes, but the more apparent sense of this verse is that he knows the treachery of the eyes of man. وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورُ, what is hidden in the hearts. What is meant by this treachery? Yeah, خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ. Yes. One meaning is that musarakatun nadar ila ma la yahil an nadar ilay. Yes, this is what is said by Mujahid, one of the tabi'in, one of the followers of the students of the companions, who was one of the major mufassir. So he said that it knows the theft, the robbery, yes, or the act of stealing that is conducted by the sight towards that which is prohibited. Yes, how many times? Yes, subhanallah. Yes, the Quran, because it teaches us the proper way of acting for mankind, which is more in accordance with our fitrah, teaches us and gives us the proper means of conducting all our organs, including our vision. Without the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and perhaps due to the corruption of culture and due to the corruption of individuals within society and the society that the individuals live in, yes, sometimes they make a play of these terms. Yes, for example, a male who is not married to a female, he still sights of her. Yes, and then he even sometimes romanticizes it in poetry. Yes, I have fallen in love with you the moment I saw you, and then the moment I've seen you, I have never allowed myself to keep you away from me. MashaAllah. Or they say things like, who is the possessor, or rather, was your father a thief? Because I think your father have stolen the stars for your eyes. You are the thief for stealing glances at a woman you're not married with. Yes. Musarakatun nadar ila ma la yahillu nadar ilay. Yes, it is the, because sometimes we think that we are in control of our organs, our sight and our hearing. But every now and then we experience that brief betrayal. So because why? As Imam al-Ghazali said in his book, the Kimyatus Sa'ada, yes, the Kimyatus Sa'ada, and in his Kitab Ajaibul Qalb, yes, there is within ourselves the ruh or the spirit, yes, which the ruh or the spirit whose intention is to be subservient and obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the intelligent aspect. It is the one who inclines towards submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the other hand, there is the nafs. Yes, and Imam al-Ghazali, in order to simplify the battle within ourselves between the nafsul natiqah and the nafsul haywaniyah, gives the image, yes, of a king, a pig, yes, and a dog. Yes, a king, a pig, and a dog, or a beastly animal. Now, the king, his natural state is to rule over the body. Yes, and his rule over the body would result in justice. On the other hand, if the pig is in control, then the pig is an element of desire, always seeking out means of satisfying itself. On the other hand, if the dog or the ferocious animal becomes the ruling aspect of the body, then he becomes, let us say, a creature of anger. As a creature of anger, a creature of desiring control over others, Of course, Imam al-Ghazali distinguishes further in a more subtle manner in the Ajaib al-Qalb that the fourth could be a shaitanic aspect in the soul, a shaitanic aspect. So there is the insaniya, the true meaning of man, the ruh, which comes from the alam al-amr, and then there is the what he calls the sabu'iyah, the bahimiyah, and the shaitaniyah. The sabu'iyah is what we said, the ferocious animal, yes, the one that is the principle of anger. And then there is the bahimiyah aspect, the beastly animal, the one that desires sloth, yes, meaning to say laziness, the fulfillment of the shahwa, or the two shahwatan, yes, the desire of the stomach and the desire of the private parts. And then finally, yes, if left unchecked, there is the shaitanic. Yeah, there is the shaitanic quality in man. Yes, and this shaitanic quality is, its nature is to break apart society, to break apart families, to destroy trust. Yes, to spread discord. Yes, to destroy friendships also. So if left unchecked, now these are always in constant battle in your soul. So that is why if a person who has not properly mastered himself, and this is where Professor Nakim Attas in the Prolegomena said that the one of the requirements of justice is correct rule, yes, or just rule, and he does not mean only in the political external sense, but more importantly, in the just rule of yourself, to render submissive to you the animalistic desires. So the musarakatun nadar, therefore, the theft of the eye, the theft of vision, the theft of sight, yes, towards that which is unbecoming of your looking. Now that is the desires trying to control you. And Alhamdulillah, in this holy month of Ramadan, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is giving us a test, or rather, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is giving us an ability to perform, yes, a test upon ourselves to determine which aspect of us is in control, and furthermore, to give the proper control of the body. As Imam Abdullah ibn Alawi al-Haddad said in the Nasaih Adiniyah, he said that the secret of fasting, one of the secrets of keeping an empty stomach, or rather of hunger, is that it renders the rest of the members weak. Yes, the idea is that Imam Haddad said, if the stomach is empty, yes, then the movements will decline. If the stomach is full, then the rest of the organs will seek to move likewise. Yes, the eye seeks entertainment, the ear seeks entertainment, the mouth, yes, seeks speech, yes, the hands and the feet seek movement, let us say. But on the other hand, you keep it within the shackles and the control of fasting, then the ruh and the intellect dominates. Yes, musarakatun nadar ila ma la yahillu nadar ilayhi. So that is, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala knows these things. Because sometimes you may be able to hide it, yes, in community. Sometimes even within intimate friendship. Yes, sometimes even within the intimacy of a friendship. Yes, your friend have trusted you for all this while, but you steal a glance of hatred towards that person. Yes, and that it is unknown to that person that whereas he or she may have trusted you all this while, in truth, you have a side of envy towards this person, but you do not display it. Yes, you pass it through as sweet words, or sometimes even as words of advice, but it comes from that kha'inatul a'yun. Yes, the betrayal of vision. Qatadah said, it is the side of the eye towards that which is not loved by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, or that which does not earn the love of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Or it is also sometimes, according to Ad-Dahak, Qawlul Insan, it is when a person says, I did not see it, but in truth he saw. Or when he said, I saw it, but in truth he didn't. And you see, you can test these things sometimes even in simple things, even in the affairs of play, yes, in sports. How many times, perhaps, if you play football with some of your friends. And then there is especially the makeshift goalposts. And then it is up to the witnesses to determine whether or not the striker has managed to score a goal or not. In the eye of the striker, he saw that the ball came inside the post. But then he asks his friend, who is supposed to be the witness. And then the witness, who inclines towards the other team, says, I did not see it coming. Or I saw it coming from the other side. That is from the kha'inatul a'yun also. Yes, so beware of this. Yes, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the betrayal of your eyes. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala certainly knows what is hidden in your heart. Waqala Sufyan. Yes, it is an-nadratu ba'da an-nadrah. It is the sight of the ajnabi, the person who is not muhrim to you, after the initial sight, which is allowed, meaning to say that happened, that ma waqa, meaning to say that by circumstance happened. But the follow-up, now that one is the kha'inatul a'yun. Yes, the sight with shahwa. Yes, because there is the sight that is that informs the person of the identity of the individual that you look at. Yes, that you look at. There is the sight that informs you of the identity and the location of the person you're looking at. But then there is a follow-up. Yes, there is the second or the third glance, the furtive glance, in which there is betrayal. And this betrayal, it could be the ma'ashahwa, yes, which is haram, yes, that comes with desire, which is haram, or worse still, yes, if it is persistent, let us say. And wama tukhfi sudur, and as for what is hidden in the hearts, which is ma tukhfi sudur min ad-dama'ir. Yes, what is hidden in your heart, yes, from the rest of the bodily members, because sometimes some of us are good enough to hide it from the rest of the bodily members. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, except for the eyes. Yes, and the betrayal of the eye may sometimes include, for example, your disregard. Yes, your disregard for a person's capacity or capability. So you look at him with a certain manner, or you look at her with a certain manner. To look at to look at a person and say, nah, this person, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or I know this person, and so that eye alone is sufficient sometimes to give you that sense. Yes, ainul istihqar is one of another sight which is haram. You need to say, to look at another person with contempt. Now, so sometimes a person may be very skillful in that even in his eyes it is not seen, although rarely, because the eyes are usually windows to the soul. Yes, the eye is the window to the soul, as Imam Sayyidina Ali also said. In addition to the eye, yes, Sayyidina Ali said about the tongue. Yes, the heart of a person is behind his tongue. Yes, what you constantly think about will be revealed through your tongue, because in other words, your body is merely the servants of the heart. Yeah? So if the heart is controlled by the right forces, then the body follows suit. But if the heart is corrupt, the heart is sick, let us say, then the rest of the body will follow the sickness and the illness of the heart. So therefore, the eye is one of the first to give away. It is to be the first giveaway. The sign of disinterest, the sign of contempt is seen in the eye. وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ, but really, it is what a person tries to hide in the heart. Yes. مِنَ الدَّمَائِرِ تَسُرُّهُ مِنْ مَعَاصِي اللَّهِ. In truth, that you are performing the ma'asiyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the heart. Because, as we know, in terms of protecting oneself, it is insufficient to just to block our eyes, yes, from that which is haram. It is also to curtail our heart from tafkir, yes, from tafkir, or rather imagination, from the takhayulat of that which is seen. Now, this is something very important for the youth in our time. Yes, first and foremost, they need to be advised. Yes, if we have younger siblings, for even ourselves, sometimes our eyes may fall upon that which is haram, and we think that it is okay because we're accustomed to it. Now, yes, it is not okay. Yes, because whatever that has fallen upon the eyes, will be registered, yes, by the intellect or the imagination. It is stored for future use. And so the more things the eye sees, which is haram, then the more athar it has on the heart. And if it has an athar on the heart, then what is the nafs will push you, yeah, will push you towards the utilization of the image which is stored. Yes, the utilization of the image which is stored, and the creative nature of the intellect is such that if you do not fill it with knowledge, yes, if you do not fill it with the contemplation of the right things, as Imam Abdullah bin Alam al-Haddad said in the Risalah al-Mu'awana, the book of assistance, um, there are what we call the Majra al-Tafakkur, yes, Majra al-Tafakkur, meaning to say there are certain things in which the intellect is created such that we need to busy it with the contemplation of the things that brings reward towards it, amongst which is the contemplation of the beauty, the resplendent beauty of the realm of creation, in order that we arrive at the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One. Second, the contemplation of the actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He revealed Himself in the Quran. And this is done through dhikr wa tafkir, yeah, dhikr wa fikr, meaning to say the recitation of the Asma'illah al-Husna. Like when you contemplate upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attribute of forgiveness, yes, it brings you to seek forgiveness. And when you contemplate the nature of Allah, the sifah, the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as accepting of tawbah and repentance, it brings you towards repentance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you busy yourself towards the contemplation of Allah's attributes, you busy yourself towards the contemplation of Allah's actions, you busy yourself towards the contemplation of the beauty of nature, then the intellect is sound, including, of course, to busy yourself with the contemplation of the ni'mah that you have received from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to contemplate your own misgivings, or rather your own inability and your own trespassing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rights. And this brings the heart closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the other hand, yes, if we incline towards the bodily members, yes, we keep busying ourselves not on the contemplating of the thing mentioned, but rather, upon false, let us say false speech, or rather empty speech, what is called ghibah, wal namimah, wal kidhib, yes, meaning to say backbiting, and those who are, gossiping and, spreading false lies. All these things, yes, they are, what they do is that they feed the nafsul ammara, yes. Yes, reading the news feed can sometimes, it's called a feed after all. Yes, it's like, the news feed is like a feed that, depending, of course, on who your friends are, depending on what they post, but chances are, yes, if they are not properly controlled and you do not properly have control of that which is there, then the feed may be that which feeds the nafsul ammara. Look at your news feed, yes. If it is full of the salihin and their kalam and their speech, and basically their writings, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate your station. You have chosen the right friends. But on the other hand, if your feed is full of the things that incite anger, that provokes anger, and that provokes backbiting, and that, that tells the empty stories, yes, of the lives of people who live empty lives, the influencers who intend to influence you towards more and more of the evil aspects of the dunya, yes, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the strength of overcoming that desire. So that's what is hidden in the heart, yes. Wa ma tukhfi sudur. Yes, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cleanse our hearts, yes, and substitute our bad and evil habits with the good habits that earns His pleasure. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replace our false and idle talk with fruitful, intellectual, intelligential, and spiritual discussions and dhikr wa tafkir. Yes, because thamaratul dhikr, thamaratul ilm, the fruit of thamaratul tafkir al-ilm. The fruit of thinking is knowledge. And as for the fruit of dhikr, it is mahabbah. Yes. So busy your heart with the dhikrullah, because the dhikrullah will cleanse your spirit, will cleanse your soul. Yes, because sometimes in the day and age that we live in, there's so many toxic nature that tries to enter into the heart. And none of this is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ever watching, yes, is ever seeing us, we should be very careful of what enters into our hearts, yes, what enters into our company. Ibn Kathir, ya, rahimahullah, yes, he said in his tafsir, يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. Yes, as a tafsir of this verse, Allah knows the betrayal or the treachery of the vision of man and what is hidden in their hearts. Is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us of his complete and compassing knowledge over everything. Yes. Yes, encompassing over everything. That his knowledge, yes, certainly encompasses the act of his awliya, yes, such that he rewards them, and every act, including the sight and vision of the awliya, lifts or his station, or is elevated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But his sight also encompasses, yes, the many times in which we wrong ourselves. In the akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise us, including our bodily organs, because perhaps our tongues might try to lie. Yes, as it is said that al-yawma nakhtimu ala afwahihim wa tukallimuna aydihim wa tashhadu arjulahum bima kanu yaksubun. On that day, yes, we shall silence their tongues, because tongues may acquire a habit of lying. Yes, tongues may acquire a habit of lying. The tongue can be made a servant to the heart, or rather to the nafs. وَتُكَلِّمُونَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَتَشْهَدُ أَرْجُلُهُم. We will cause rather their hands to speak, yes, as to what you have earned, and we will cause their feet to be witness. Yes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this. Yes. Jaliluha wa haqiruha, saghiruha wa kabiruha. He knows the subtle things and the major things. Yes. The minuscule things and the subtle things, in order that he may warn mankind about his knowledge of everything. Yes. لِيُحْذَرِ النَّاسِ عِلْمَهُ فِيهِمْ. In order to warn mankind his encompassing knowledge of every single thing that we do. And the intention, or rather the purpose of him revealing to us the nature of his sight and vision and hearing, is in order that we may have some modesty, that we may have some shame before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحْيِ فَاسْتَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. If you have no shame, then do you as you please. Then do as you please. إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحْيِ فَاسْتَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. Isn't it true that if we were fortunate enough to be raised around family who care for us, if there are elders in the family, like uncles and aunts and friends of our parents and grandparents, sometimes even if our parents are not around, yes, when we see them in the marketplace or wherever we go, we have some shame. Yes, for example, we have some shame to act as we would if they did not see us. Yes, we would watch what we say. Yes, this is the proper meaning of adab. Yes, the proper meaning of adab. The notion of the larger family ensuring the moral standards of our society, or rather the moral standards of our children and our very selves. Yes, there used to be shame. There used to be some sense of respect of the elders, of the teachers. Yes, any person of age is treated with respect because of this sense of haya. Yes, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that one of the characteristics, yes, of the believer, yes, one of the telling characteristics of the believer is that he has haya, he has modesty. Yes, and one of the signs of Iman, yes, is also modesty. Yes, to be modest means to have some shame. This is an act, yes, in which it prevents you from falling into disrepute, or rather from falling into things that will humiliate yourself if you were to progress upon that. And if, yes, and if, even if there is no one to enforce Islam, you must know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ever seeing. Yes. If a person thinks that he is doing a shar, an evil act, hidden from his parents, hidden from his uncles and aunts, then he should ask himself, فَأَيْنَ اللَّهِ? Yes, فَأَيْنَ اللَّهِ? Where is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ever seeing and ever hearing, and he sends his angels to record everything that we have done. وَيَتَّقُوهُ حَقَّ تَقْوَاهُ. The purpose of this verse is also to produce the sense of taqwa, the sense of reverential awe. Yes, the sense of reverential awe. Because if we were to encounter, an uncle or an aunt, yes, our worry is that perhaps they would tell our parents of what we are doing. Yes, but they may not. Yes, and sometimes, yes, we might, we might disregard the person. Yes, because we don't think that person, has weight. Has his words has weight over our own. We'll just deny whatever that person says. But not the same is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because just as He is all seeing and all hearing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also all powerful. Yes, and for the beloved, the awliya, it is not the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sense of hellfire alone that he is afraid, although that is a sign of his ikhlas. But even more so, what he is more afraid of is, yes, that induces the state of taqwa is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may decide to remove the pleasure of intimate converse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may enforce upon him a veil, that as a result of that veil, he will not be able to see the truth anymore. Yes, yes, he becomes blind, he becomes deaf, and he becomes dumb. Yes, and he will not return to a state of sight. He will not return to a state of hearing. He will not return to a state of capable of rendering and transferring meaning. What he is afraid of is the death of his heart. Yes, the death of his heart. What he's afraid of, yes, is the loss of the pleasure of ibadah. Yes, because there is the pleasure of ibadah, the pleasure of iman is something that can be felt by hearts who are pure, hearts which are alive. Yes, there is a pleasure in ibadah which is incomparable to any physical pleasures in this world. But in order for you to be able to sustain and to continue to experience its depth, its breadth, its width, its extent that Allah can ever increase, yes, requires your sincerity and earnestness to have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Allah said, innama yakhshallaha min ibadihi al-ulama. Indeed, amongst the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who have khashiyah, those who have true fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the ulama, are those who have knowledge, meaning to say those who have knowledge of the effects of sinning, the effects of sin. Yes, because they know that sin is a summum qatil. It is what we call a poison which kills. Yes, it is basically a poison that slowly kills your heart. Yes, and you wouldn't want to ingest that type of material inside your heart. Yes, and those who know that if they take lightly, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command also, they may not be invited to the supper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why is it that they take care of the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over themselves? Because some of the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who are sincere, they know that even in this world, there is a kind of paradise there is an early show, let us say, an early show that is given to the privilege amongst Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala servants. Let us say, like when there is a a major movie, a major motion picture that is about to come out. Yes, then the director and the producer of that movie will invite to a private screening very special guests. So for the rest of society, they need to wait for the release dates in the cinema. Yes, but as for the privilege, yes, those who have special access, let us say, to the producer or the director, or perhaps the actors of that movie, then they will be given a private screening like that. Now, similarly, in the case of certain of the believers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the vision of Jannah, yes, can be unveiled to their heart. Yes, like it is said of the wife of Fir'aun. Yes, when she asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbi ibni, my Lord, build for me in your vicinity, yes, in closeness, in proximity to you, in your paradise, a house. So when her death was nearing, the vision of that house, yes, the vision of that castle, that mansion, the dwelling in paradise became unveiled to her. And amongst the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also, there are a few of them who have come to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and told them, and in which they have told him, I believe I have reached the true station of Iman. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that for every statement, yes, there must be a true measure of that statement. Meaning to say, there must be some sign that statement is good. What is your sign in indication of the truth and the veracity of your statement? He said, it is as if, yes, it is as if I have seen the people of paradise, yes, enjoying their vision. And if you can see the pleasure of paradise, which is blocked, which is veiled from the rest of us, yes, because the Prophet ﷺ said that Jannah is that which is not seen by any physical eye. It is not heard by any ears of man, nor has it crossed the imagination or the hearts of man. Yes, except for the ruh. Yes, the ruh, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may decide to unveil. Yes, then they may see the beauties of paradise. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also, yes, as reported in one of the hadith in prayer. Yes, he was as he was praying, he was approaching slowly, and he was reaching out. Yes, and what he was reaching out to was one of the fruits of Jannah. He said, "Wallahi, if I would take that fruit, then it would remain, yes, for the rest of time until the end of time." Yes, wal hasil. Yes, that's the purpose of taqwa. Yes, the purpose of taqwa is the preservation of our heart. Yes, it is the most important and the most subtle and the most delicate of our organs. Yes, وَيُرَاقِبُهُ مُرَاقَبَةَ مَا يَعْلَمُ أَنَّهُ يَرَى. Yes, the purpose is that you have muraqabah, you have observation of your heart. Yes, because you will observe yourself better when you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing. In other words, yes, the impact of these verses. Yes, as Imam al-Ghazali said, that there are certain verses in the Quran that acts as what we may call the kibrit al-ahmad, as the red sulfur. As Imam al-Ghazali mentioned in his book, the Jawahirul Quran, he said that certain verses in the Quran has the effect of elevating, yes, elevating the status of a person from an asi to an abid to a mu'min, from a person who is habitually disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, willfully disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is lazy in his ibadah, who has no zeal in his religious practices, as a result of contemplating, as a result of imbibing some of these verses and contemplating and thinking about them, it elevates his station, such that it is the red sulfur that changes base metal into gold. Guess how many a person, as a result of encounter with right knowledge and knowledge deriving from the Quran particularly, yes, becomes a different person. You become transformed as a result of knowledge. yes, a person becomes transformed as a result of knowledge. And why not, isn't it? If a person, imagine a village in which the members of the village do not have knowledge of modern pharmacology, modern dietetics, yes, and modern nutrition. And they have been supplied with goods, or rather they have been supplied with food items in which there are, poisonous things, there are expired things, and there are certain things that harms the body. So, and the inhabitants of that village may not know why is it that everybody keeps falling sick. That why is it that everybody have their health tends to deteriorate, as a whole, as a collective. Now, the person who has been given knowledge of the corrosive nature of these items that has been, say, let us say, imported into the village, now he will be careful to avoid those things. And as a result of avoiding those particular items that causes, let us say, an allergic reaction, a failure in the internal organs, and so on. Now, as a result, he can recover fast, and he may choose to eat well, and as a result, achieve a state of health. Yes, a state of health. Now, similarly, the person who has been given knowledge of the harmful and evil effects of sin, yes, and of the effects of doing amal and ibadah, yes, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sense of bringing qurb to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the effects of knowledge, yes, the effects of seeking knowledge, of sitting in majlisul ilm, sitting in majlisul dhikr. The people whose minds have been tuned to this will understand, yes, will understand that if possible, they wish to convert all their time, yes, all their majalis, yes, all their gatherings to be gatherings of remembrance and gatherings of dhikr and gatherings of knowledge, because any time not spent, yes, in advancing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a wasted opportunity. Yes. وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. And in that, yes, then those who have high aspirations, those who compete for the things that they compete, these are the sort of things that is desirable, yes, to be competed for. Because unfortunately for us, yes, how many of us, yes, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already revealed about the nature of the world. Innamal hayatud dunya la'ibun wa lahwun, yes, wa zina. Yes, the nature of the material things in this world, it is rather a mere play, la'ibun, yes, play, yes, it's a toy, something which is toyed with, wa lahwun, something which is a distraction, yes, and that which takes away time. Yes, wazina, a mere adornment, a mere adornment, meaning to say an ornament. An ornament need not necessarily be something valuable, need not be something which is nutritious, yes, like a false fruit that is put on the table, yes, for guests to come in. That fruit is not, that fruit is for decorative purposes only. It is not to be consumed, yes, the zinatul hayatin. Yes, it's just the beauty and ornaments of the world. Yes, and then as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, since the material products of this world are of that nature, including the things that people vie for, yes, like like a good office, like fame, yes, like stations and so on that we desire after, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَكَاثُرُ وَتَفَاخُرُ, yes, and people seek to increase their wealth, seek to increase their prospectus, yes, seek to increase whatever that can be increased, their land and their possessions. They seek to acquire even more. And after having increased their store of possession of these things, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't rate highly, as it is mere play, decoration, and as it is a mere distraction, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this is what they are tafakhur over each other. This is what they are bragging over each other. Look at what I have achieved here and there and so on. But in truth, yes, wal-baqiyatu salihah, baqiyatu salihah, baqi, meaning to say that which remains permanent, is knowledge, yes, amal salih, yes, knowledge and amal salih. this can only come as a result of knowledge, certainly. Yes, فَإِنَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ يَعْلَمُ الْعَيْنِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is all-knowing, or rather who is magnificent above all else. He knows as the eye that betrays. Yes. And he knows also he also knows the treachery of the heart, because the treachery of the heart is even more lethal than the treachery of the eye. The treachery of the eye is as if it is what we may call a minion, yes, a minion or a henchman, yes, a henchman, meaning to say a mere tool or instrument of evil. Yes, he has a share, certainly. Yes, the minion or the tool or the instrument has a share in the evil part, but the true mastermind, yes, the true corrupt agent in this case is the heart, which is not sound. Yes, that's why the Prophet ﷺ indicated of this matter. He said, "Ya idha saluha saluhal jasadakum." If the heart is sound, then the rest of the body is sound. Wa idha fasadat fasadal jasadu kullu. Yes, if the heart is corrupt, then the rest of the bodily members will follow suit in its corruption. Yes, the hands, whereas if controlled by a sound heart, the hands becomes a means of ibadah and assistance, mutual assistance amongst mankind. In the control of the corrupt, it is a means of gaining. It is a means of theft, robbery, a means of destruction, and so on. And similarly, the legs, similarly the mouth, all the bodily members, if not controlled properly by the heart, then they become instruments of evil. Imam al-Razi said, so therefore, there are two actions. An al-af'al qisman, af'alul jawari wa af'alul qulub. There are actions performed by the limbs, and then there are actions performed by the heart. As for the actions performed by the limbs, yes, then the most subtle and hidden of it is the treachery of the eye. Allah knows that. Yes, as Imam al-Razi says. فَكَيْفَ الْحَالُ فِي سَائِرِ الْأَعْمَالِ. So since even the most hidden, the most, let us say, subtle action is known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what more the rest of the actions that we are continually doing. Yes. وَأَمَّا أَفْعَالُ الْقُلُوبِ. And as for the actions and of the heart, and this is also known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by his statement, he knows what is hidden in the hearts. فَدَلَّ هَذَا عَلَى كَوْنِهِ تَعَالَى عَالِمًا بِجَمِيعِ أَفْعَالِهِمْ. These therefore are evidences, or rather these are proofs. These are proofs that Allah, or rather these are as witnesses, as these verses reveal to us, yes, or tell us, inform us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing over the rest of our actions. So therefore, determine that your actions are sound, and we have already discussed the means to improve our actions. Furthermore, yes, it is followed up by another verse, وَيَعْلَمُ السِّرَّ وَأَخْفَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He knows your secret, and He knows that which is even more hidden than the secret. Yes. Yes, because sometimes we keep something a secret, but there are certain things that we may not know. Yes, that is hidden even deeper. Sometimes, yes, we justify our actions. Yes, we justify our actions sometimes in the form of advice. Yes, sometimes in the form of an action in which we try to justify ourselves that truly we are doing this for the sake of our love for the brother or the sister. Yes, but we may not know that that is hidden even deeper than that. There is a sense of envy or something like that. وَالْجَهَرْ بِالْقَوْلِ وَرَفْعُ الصَّوْتِ بِهِ. So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and if you were to raise your voice, then Allah subhanahu or if you were to articulate or enunciate, yes, what is in your heart, then know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is inside the heart, and He even knows what is deeper than that. Because how many people, yes, they use speech, yes, as a mere cover. Yes, they use speech as a mere cover. Yes, bagai menanam tebu di pinggir bibir. Yes, they plant sugar cane at the tip of their lips, meaning to say they are sweet mouth. Yes, they talk sweetly, but what is in the heart, we know is the opposite of that which is said. Yes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that even if you may say certain things. Yes. So that is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was combating the munafiqeen in Medina. He gives their signs. Yes. The signs of the munafiqeen, yes, is that when they speak, they lie. Yes. And when they are given a trust, they betray. And when they promise, they go back on their promises. Yes. So therefore, the munafiq is this person who says something in front, and what is hidden within it is its opposite. Wal jahar, as it is said. Naam. وقيل سر ما أدمره الإنسان بنفسه والأعفى منه ما لم يكن. So as it is said just now, the sir, the secret is that which is kept in your conscious mind. Let us say, what is more hidden than it is sometimes that which doesn't appear to cross your mind, but it is at the root of or rather the motivating factor behind the speech. Naam. So I think that is sufficient for our explanation this morning. Let us hear if there are any questions or any discussions.
Jazakumullah khair, Ustaz. There's one question in the chat box. You want me to read it for you, Ustaz? Assalamu Ustaz from Brother Ikhwan. What is the meaning of jangan panjang angan-angan? And what and why? And what is the hikmah of it and how do we practice it?
Yes, so one of the means, as Imam Abdullah bin Ala bin Haddad has said in the Risalatul Mudzakarah, the penuntut hidup bahagia, yes, the treatise on mutual assistance, let us say, is that there are four things that distract you from approaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, there are four things that hinder a seeker, yes, to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or to make progress on your pilgrim's path, yes, in your suluk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first, he said, is da'ful iman. Yes, the first is ignorance. Yes, ignorance. Al-jahal. This ignorance encompasses both, yes, or rather encompasses several aspects. It could be the ignorance of aspects of iman, yes, aspects of aqidah, yes, which is remedied through knowledge, certainly. Yes, maybe we did not know about certain characteristic attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the science of Tawheed needs to be repeated. Yes, it needs to be ever refreshed. It could also be as a result of your lack of knowledge with regards to the foundations of fiqh or foundations of Islam. Meaning to say, you may not know the status of something being haram, which is in fact haram. So therefore, you continue to indulge upon it. You may not know, for example, the nawaqid al-wudu, yes, the thing that nullifies your wudu, but you continue to perform your wudu in such a way. Yes, you may not know the shurut and the arkan, yes, but you may not know what are the elements that establish the prayer, yes, and what may invalidate the prayer also, yes, if you do not fulfill its requirements, and you habitually do that, yes, and that ignorance is going to cost you, yes. Similarly, you may not know about the fiqh of zakat, the fiqh of fasting properly. You may not know the proper time where you're supposed to start fasting. You may not know the distinction between the actions which are allowed and the actions which are not allowed in fast. All the ignorance, the ignorance of these things can cost you. Yes, and similarly, there is ignorance in the realm of tasawwuf, or the realm of tazkiyatul nafs. Yes, you may not know about the evil effects of, as we said, the actions of the limbs, yes, the things which are haram to be performed by the heart, and haram which is to be performed by the tongue is not known, and you indulge, now that ignorance is going to cost you. So first, the number one cause, let us say, the number one cause that is holding people behind in their suluk towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ignorance. The second cause, according to Imam Abdullah bin Alam al-Haddad, is da'ful iman wal yaqeen, weakness of iman, yes, and lack of certainty, lack of conviction, yes. And the certainty which is meant here is not the certainty of knowledge alone, yes, because there is the certainty that you may have certainty that Allah created the world. You may have certainty that this world couldn't have come into being, yes, without a creator. You may have certainty also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punishes, yes, those who wrong him, who wrong themselves. But the certainty which is meant by Imam Abdullah bin Alam al-Haddad, as per Imam al-Ghazali's writings, is the certainty that rises and falls with actions, that rises and falls with actions, which is indicated in Suratul Anfal, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, innamal mu'minuna alladhina idha dhukira Allah, indeed the believers, when Allah is mentioned, yes, idha dhukira Allahu wajilat qulubuhum, their hearts tremble, yes, in fear, in reverential awe, knowing the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa idha tuliyat alayhim, and when the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are recited, zadathum iman. So that the certainty and the iman, which is weak and strong in this case, is the ones that accompany actions, or that comes as a result of actions. So sitting with the Salihin, reciting the Quran, contemplating on death, yes, visiting the sick, yes, and other actions such as this. This is the means of remedy of the weakness of iman, just as the knowledge is a remedy of ignorance. Then he gives the third one, which is tulul amal. But before we get to tulul amal, which is the answer to Ikhwan's question, number 4 is aklul haram wa shubha. Yes, to eat, to consume that which is haram and that which is ambiguous in nature. So the haram can come from the very substance of the things, meaning to say the things which are made haram by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like alcohol, or rather like intoxicants, the flesh of swine and the flesh of unslaughtered meals, or rather unslaughtered meat and so on. But it can also mean, yes, the aklul haram that comes from wealth, which is haram. Yes, either that wealth has a portion of people's rights upon it, yes, like zakat that needs to be taken out of your wealth, or it has a portion of riba that has mixed into it, yes, or it has a portion of yes, la ta'kulu amwalakum bil batil, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Yes, Allah prohibits us from eating each other, consuming of each other's wealth in wrongful means. Yes, wrongful means may include, of course, corruption, yes, and other means which is haram, and sometimes even things which we may take for granted, yes, like eating a meal which we are not inviting for without the express idin, or without the idin, without the rida of the one who is inviting, and so on and so forth. Unless we have a culture of, like, it is known, let us say, that the open house means an invitation to everyone. But things which are, let us say, invitation only. Now, this one you need to seek permission, yes, and those who are invited should ask. If I'm bringing, say, my cousin to come to this, I have a friend from Vietnam who's coming with me. May I take him to the wedding also? Now, that's permission that needs to be sought. What has it? Yes. So aklul haram or shubha. Number 4. So number 3 is tulul amal. Yes, panjang angan-angan. Tulul amal, the lengthening of, let us say, desires, or rather the lengthening of your projection in this world, comes from lack of contemplation of death. Yes, and the nafs. Yes, it is easy to be carried away in this, isn't it? Then it is easy to be carried away with this. Yes, so the tulul amal comes from your ignorance of the impending coming of death, your lack of attention to the reality of the akhirah. Yes, your lack of attention to the affairs of the akhirah. Yes, and as a result, you have this tulul amal. Yes, you delay tawbah towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You substitute the chasing after that which pleases your nafs over that which is supposed to increase your store upon the akhirah and so on. So that's the dangers of the tulul amal. On the other hand, a person whose contemplation of death is consistent, he acts, yes, he acts in this world as abiru sabilin, as that's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's command. He said, be you a stranger to this world or a passerby. A stranger and a passerby knows that the world is not the darul khulud. This is not your house. This is not your permanent place of residence. You are but a passerby. Your real house is going to be the akhirah. Yes. So that's the function of the tulul amal. On the other hand, is that thing. Yes, it's a form of ghurur also. It is a form of deception. Yes, and everyone, yes, may suffer from this. Even students of knowledge, yes, even students of knowledge, even teachers of knowledge. Students of knowledge can suffer when he thinks that he wants to master all the knowledge in the world. Well, that may not be bad, but when you want to master all knowledge, then you may fail in the sense of priorities. Yes, in the end, you fail in the fardu ain. In the fardu kifayah, you may have some aspects, and in the fada'il, that which is good to possess. Yes, but not fard. That one you may have a large store. That comes from your tulul amal. Yes, you think that, okay, I want to master this present discourse in the philosophical sciences, in the sciences and so on and so forth. I need to keep myself updated on the latest discoveries and so on and so forth. And you keep to that. Whereas you have not fulfilled the requirements of the fardu ain and the fardu kifayah. And that comes from tulul amal, yes, because you want to keep abreast and you want to be relevant and so on and so forth to the eyes of man. And similarly with teachers, yes, sometimes with teachers, when they suffer from tulul amal, yes, they would teach the courses that is most popular, yes, that would elevate their names. Yes, they would want to teach the courses that has the largest appeal. Yes, as opposed to teaching courses, yes, which is required, as opposed to teaching courses which truly will change the condition of the society. That comes from tulul amal. Yes, because you think that you're going to live in this world forever, for a long time, which you have sure, as if you're certain of. Yes, for us, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave in a very vivid parable in the Quran. Yes, yes, and we shall surely test him as we have tested the people who wish to perform harvest. Yes, when they have, let us say, when they have seen their crops, they have planted it, and then after the crops have grown and they've seen the shoots, and then they've seen the flowering, and then they've seen the fruits. Yes, and then all that they are waiting for is to harvest it. Who knows? Yes, the night that they harvested, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may take away everything. Yes, the same with mankind. Yes, Professor Wan used to share with us several stories of people who shared with him. Some people, they have spent their lives working hard, gathering money, yes, enlarging their savings and so on, because they thought that when they come to the age of retirement, they wish to travel the world. Suddenly, when one of them reached that age and has the money, then she is diagnosed with cancer. So that stops her plans. So she said, how can God do this to me? Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. Yes, na'udhu billahi min dhalik. May Allah protect our tongues from saying such things. Yes, how can God do this to me? It's another person like that, he fell into an accident. Yes, and then became a paraplegic, or meaning to say loss of the lower body. And then the wife said, it is unfair for my husband to suffer this. He has been kind to people. All we wish for is a little enjoyment in our life. Now, yes. That's the effect of tulul amal. Yes. But on the other hand, yes, if you have remedied yourself from tulul amal, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide. Yes, you will work for the world based on your requirement and the fulfillment of your responsibilities, and to care for those under your care, and to assist the community where it is required. Yes, and to, out of the profits of your work, to increase your store of amal. Yes, it is not true that that the believer necessarily must be somebody who is bereft of wealth. Yes, because there have been many instances. Yes, many instances in which amongst the Muslims were people who left awqaf, and whose awqaf has benefited the community until today. Yes, they have spent on the madrasas, they have spent on the Jami'ah, universities. Yes, there are many universities that run on the waqaf system. Yes, the students and teachers have benefited from the awqaf of these ulama, or rather these generous people who are also conscious of their role in the world. So the idea is it is a matter of cognition with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the life of the akhirah. Wallahu a'lam. Any other questions?
Jazakallah khairan, Ustaz, for the answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure. Any other question?
It's been clear now, actually.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, Hussein, if there are no other questions.
Inshallah, I'm gonna make two announcements. So the first one is maybe during Shawwal, inshallah, we're gonna pause for a little while, and then let us see our Ustad's schedule after that, because the tertib will be a bit different. And inshallah, I'll inform everyone through WhatsApp groups or email, inshallah. And the second one is, as I mentioned in the WhatsApp group, we are planning to transcribe these 3 sessions, I suppose, on the attributes of Allah, then make a little booklet. And the second one after Qada and Qadar, this is the second one. Inshallah, I might need a few volunteers, say 2 persons for each video, something like that. But I'll let you know through WhatsApp, inshallah, and after this. So yes, that's it, inshallah. And then we have 2 more sessions during Ramadan, Ustaz? Okay,
Inshallah, yes, until the last week, yes.
Jazakumullah khair to Ustaz and to everyone for attending the session, inshallah. And may Allah bless this meeting and increase our knowledge, inshallah. Should we end this session with a dua from you, from you, Ustaz?
الفاتحة بالقبول وتمام كل سؤل ومأمون وصلاح شأن ظاهرا وباطنا في الدين والدنيا والآخرة، دافعة لكل شر، جانبة لكل خير لنا ولأحبابنا ولوالدينا ولمشايخنا ولأولادنا ولذوي الحقوق علينا، وبنية أن الله ينور قلوبنا وقوالبنا مع التقى والهدى والعفاف والغنى والموت على دين الإسلام والإيمان بلا محنة ولا امتحان، بحق سيد ولد عدنان ولكل نية صالحة. وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم بسر الأسرار الفاتحة.
Amin, Allahumma amin. Inshallah till we meet again next week, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.